I've got to have help. And no human power is going to do it. No human power. And that includes all the human ideas which do not encompass spiritual growth. Then all you have to remember, you want to take it a little bit further, very simple. We hear it in every meeting, the three pertinent ideas. I'm an alcoholic. No human power is going to relieve me of my alcoholism. God can and will do exactly that if I seek Him. God will take away the obsession, compulsion to drink, and all I have to do is seek Him. And then it sets out to show us how to seek God. Work the steps. So simple. How in the hell do we get clear off base so much? I don't understand it. Anyway, practice these principles in all of our affairs means quite simply that we're going to take the 12 steps and we're going to make them a part of our lives from here on out. That's not as difficult as it may sound. What it really means is I'm going to work steps 10, 11, and 12 every day. Because if I do that, I've then incorporated all the steps into my life. The 10th step, when you read it closely, and we went over this when we were doing the 10th step together, remember? We got our inventory in there. We've got our 5th step admissions in there. We've got our submission to God of what we find, our defects, in there. We have our 9th step amends so we can be freed from our guilt in there. And we have the bridge to the 12th step to turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Then we go to the 11th step and we find exactly the same thing, only we find that there we're looking to see if we've gotten off the path at all. Gotten off the path. And if we've gotten off the path, we go to God and ask Him to forgive us and show us how to do better tomorrow. And we pray and we meditate asking God to give us knowledge of what He wants us to do today and the power to carry it out. And that's all we pray for. In the 12th step, we go out and we get people to help, and we help them, and we work and self-sacrifice for them because we know that this is the way to spiritual growth, and it's the way that we get to keep what we've been given. We don't get to keep it otherwise. So you can see that practicing these principles in all of your affairs is simply a matter of working 10, 11, 12 every day. It's that simple. And that means being disciplined and consistent in doing the work. I asked my sponsors right away when I first got in here, what does it mean around here when they say one day at a time? They said, well, there are a lot of different definitions. We're not going to tell you definition, we're going to tell you what to do. If you want to claim one day at a time, it's very simple. Today I went to a meeting. Today I took inventory. Today I prayed. Today I meditated. Today I helped another alcoholic. He said, you do these 5 things, you're living your life one day at a time, you're growing spiritually, you're in God's pocket, and you'll never drink again. How simple can it be? And that's true. And 38 and a half years later, I promise you it's true. And those of you who know me know that's exactly what I do. Because my sponsors were strong enough and insistent enough to make sure that I got into the habit of doing these things every day till they became a part of my life. I wouldn't be without them. And I have to confess to you that I didn't know anything that was true when I got here. Everything I knew was wrong. I had to start all over again. And since that time I haven't had an original thought. Everything I know I learned here. And I'm perfectly happy with that. My ego does not require that I have more than what I've been given here. And that I can pass on to you. And that's a nice way to live your life. You know, there's no more struggle. Nothing to be proven. And so we're going to carry this message. Now the 7th chapter deals in part with carrying the message. And the first 7 pages or 8 pages have to do with carrying the message to newcomers. And that's where we fall down. We're terrible at that. Some poor slob comes in that door over there, kind of smelly and all disheveled, maybe needs a shave for 4 or 5 days. All of a sudden there's a gap of about 10 feet around this poor devil. You watch the next time that happens in any room where you are. See who goes up to him after the meeting. You ought to. But for the grace of God, there is each and every one of us. And there is where our service starts, with the guy who is so sick, sore, and wounded he can barely stumble in the door. That's where it all starts. That's the guy who's going to, a few years from now, will be carrying the message, maybe worldwide, who knows. Maybe only with a few people, but they're all sober because he's been able to help them. You just don't know. We don't make any judgments in here. We leave that up to God. We don't try to prejudge whether somebody's going to make it or not. That's foolish. How the hell would we know? And I can tell you this, if we assume one thing, very simple thing, that God got him in here for his purposes, and our job is to help him for God's purposes, then we know what we need to do. It makes it easy. We don't have to guess. This is not a bloody treatment center here. This is AA. We're here to carry the message to the next person who shows up. And the big book tells us on page 89 that practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. When you are helping the other guy or the other gal, you are saving your own life.